Hi, my name is Lavera Conto. I'm 16 years old. I'm from Liberia, West Africa, and this is my business. My business is taking something bad and turning it into something good, which is taking borders that kill a lot of people in my home country in Liberia and turning into a jewelry that have life on it, that represent new life and new beginning, and selling it and raising and using the money to take care of myself and take care of a lot of kids in Africa. So yeah, this is my business.
The first question is, what was your first idea? Now, I don't know if what you're doing now is your first idea, but tell us about your first idea.
Okay, well, my first idea actually was to do a blanket, like a blanket that people lay on, like a bedspread, like a blanket. And I wanted to do like a wedding blanket because I always thought it's really cool, like to like knit a blanket or something like that. So sorry, I know it sounds really cheap, but cheesy, but that's what I wanted to do. That was my first idea.
It doesn't sound cheesy.
Oh really? Okay, thank you. I sometimes feel like uncomfortable to talk about to say my first idea, but yeah, that was my first idea.
So you made that yourself?
Well, it was my first idea, but I didn't make it. I
Oh,
actually then it came to my mind as my first idea, and I was thinking about making it, and I was like, okay, that's when the second idea came. Then is this what we're talking about right now, the necklace and everything, and that's why I was like, okay, then I really like this idea better than my first idea. So yeah. hmm
that's not unusual. I have that same thing. Um,
Okay.
so let's talk about your second idea. That is the idea that's really launched everything for you. Talk about that. Tell us right from the beginning.
Okay. Was a long story. I'll just make it short.
No,
Uh,
take your time.
Okay, well, the aquawater necklace is actually necklace. It's actually bullets turned into like a spin bullets turned into necklace, and it have leaves and it have life on it, and it's actually the way it came all about is that I was actually after I had my first idea, I was thinking about what else I could like think about that could be good, and I thought, oh my God, why I made like a jewelry, okay? You know, like when you talk about idea, like a jewelry, okay, fine, that's okay. And I'm like, well, if I make a jewelry made out of bullets, and everyone's like, yeah, love that. I don't think so. Like it's hard to make a jewelry made out of bullets. So we talked about it a lot, and then I was like, that's when it was born right there. Is that just thinking about it and like determined me to work on it because I really believe in it that it was going to become something really great. And so I said, okay, then that's how I wanted to do it and to see like an example if we actually make a bullet out of necklace and see how it will look like and being a design and designing it and things. And so that's how we came up with the aqua wedding necklace. It was actually really amazing. Because I was like, I've never seen this before in my life, and yeah, um, and actually for it to like be like that, like for it to blow up like that, like when you start something, like you need the money to like put it out there. And so
Yes.
me and my friends like decided to sell candies. Like we got like the 99 cents candies for the 99 cent store. I don't know, yeah. And we sold it and we sold it and sold it until we raised like $300. And that is how we like throw a party and things like to like invite people and like, hey, we have a apple prayer. Like you guys can come and see my jewelry and things. Yeah. So that's when everything started.
Wow. So you started right off with an idea for marketing and financing the whole project.
Yeah, yes.
I guess it's a good idea because your backstory is very interesting. let's talk about your backstory. First of all, where are you right now? Start with
Well, I'm in Texas, Austin. You know what I'm living right now? Oh, well, oh God. I'm in Texas, Austin right now, but I live in Liberia. But I'm just here for like a fundraiser that we're doing to help a lot of kids in Liberia. So yeah, that's what I'm in Austin right now.
and tell us a little bit about your life in Liberia and how that led to your idea.
Well, first of all, like I grew up in Ghana. In Ghana, is like a country in West Africa, and when I was 4 years of age, well, cause my country Liberia had like a 15-year civil war, and so my dad and I went to Ghana, and so me and my dad lived in the refugee camp in Ghana, and so being there, um, just being around the situations and things like that, you're actually gonna think like, why would you kind of have an idea about things like that? But actually, it's just something that's a part of me. I don't know why. The whole thing about making jewelry and fashion, that business is very important to me. Because I mean, if you really know how to create businesses and things that you can be in a well situation that you can help yourself and help other people around you. So yeah, so actually like living there and when I was 12 years of age, I actually became the first Strong Heart Fellow, which is like the program I'm in right now.
Right.
And then yeah, and so I had the opportunity to come to America and go to school. And as a fellow, you have to create a project or like a business or something that's going to help you and help your your home country and develop your country and develop you as a person. And so I was it was amazing, and I had to think about things like that. And then it was really funny because I never thought I'd be able to like think about stuff like that. I would just come into mind. And like most people probably be like, yeah, it's actually hard to think about things like that. Like, I know how it feels like to feel like you're thinking about something that doesn't make no sense to you, but like as long as you like keep on like pushing your mind to it, it kind of makes sense at the end of the day. So yeah, that's how everything came about.
I think it's a nice philosophy. You had mentioned your philosophy was that you're taking something that is kind of horrible and turning it into something that represents new life and something positive.
Mhm. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I think that's neat. Tell
Thank
us about
you.
your father. I'm sorry?
I said thank you.
Sure. Tell us about your father. I understand he played a strong role in getting you started with as an entrepreneur and as somebody who wanted to help people.
Yeah. Yeah. Actually, my dad. My dad. It's like the funny thing with my dad is that my dad always encouraged me like in doing things, and he's like the right bone for me. He's someone I can trust in a lot of things and a lot of decisions and things like that. And so as a kid growing up, like he always taught me to have a lot of leadership and actually just like following what my heart tells me and like things like that as a parent would do, but at the same time like being there for me and like yeah and really reminding me every day that leadership is very oh boy you're going leadership leadership is very important and things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. As you sort of became involved with the Strongheart Fellowship, I understand that further influenced. Tell us about that.
Strong Heart Fellowship program is actually a program for young kids who have been through a lot of things in their lives, but it's about taking kids from rough places and who are determined to do things in life and helping them to really develop as a person and as a leader and actually following their dreams and things like that. So when I became the first Strong Heart Fellow, I had to create a project and things like that. And actually, they kind of really helped me to find like who I am as a person and like really following my dreams and like following my heart and things like that. So yeah.
All right. What was the very first action that you took toward building your new idea? Was it the candy, the party? Was that essentially where you started?
Oh boy, no, the first idea actually, like you have an idea and you think about it, it's like you go to a jeweler, like a jewelry person, like design, because when you see the product first and see if it satisfies you, and it didn't make you motivated to go and raise money to like want to like put it out there. So like going to the jeweler and making an example and see and seeing if this is what you really want before you like before you put all your energy and effort into it, you know. Like you don't
Yes.
want to do something people will be like, oh, that I didn't do that, but yeah.
Okay. Okay. Um, and obviously, when you told other people, they were a little taken aback by the idea. Did you have to work pretty hard to convince them, or was it just, I'm going to show them?
Um, Actually, I was really determined to show. This thing is gonna be the best. Like, have you ever seen someone make jewelry out of bullets before? I mean, talking about really jewelry that you can melt down. I mean, I was 14 when I did this too, and then like people are just like, oh, maybe this gonna make sense, and yeah, and so, well, like this, if this makes sense, you can really prove it. I'm like, of course I can prove it. Like, yeah, and just seeing like the first design things, and people are like, okay, maybe this really makes sense.
Was it profitable right off the bat, or did it? How did it How did it develop as far as a successful business model? Do you feel like it's there? It's on the way there?
I think I think it's there, and it's like, I think this is what I think personally. I think so far, I think you have a long way to go, but I think you have accomplished like some of the goals it wanted to. Like that's how I think. I think it still have a long way to go, and but you know, like when you're starting things first, like you don't understand why like sometimes things go like the way it goes. But again, like if you really believe in it, like you put all your heart and hard work into it, like you get best results and things. Like first, me and my friends are just selling candies, like to open like to have a jewelry party and launch a jewelry party, and then people start buying jewelry, and we're like, wow, you know, really like really think about it like that, and then next thing you know, it's like in Elle magazine, in Italian magazine, like in magazine to buy, and it's like going on blogs and newspapers, and people start wearing it, and like next thing you know, like celebrities start wearing it, and you're like, wow, I never thought it was gonna go that big.
Okay, let's talk about, obviously, one of the questions we ask is, did this solve a problem for someone? And in actuality, this whole thing was set up with that purpose, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Tell me about
Yeah.
that.
Well, first of all, like we set it up as a like first of all, it was like a business I was creating, like to help myself as a person, and just like if actually to help myself as a person, and then I had to decide like what if do I wanted to help other people, or do I just wanted to help myself or anything like that, and then decided that I wanted to help other people too, and so for the Strong House, actually kind of raise money to put roof on the house and like to do things so we can have a lot of kids from Ghana who are other children who don't have it to come in the house and go to school and have a better life. So yeah, and actually, yeah, I've actually done well people, and I still don't work for me because I pay my school fees and food and clothes and things. So yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, like
Were there a lot
again, when you're
of,
starting something, you never think it's gonna go that big like that. Yeah.
say that again, that last part.
But sorry, I said like if you're starting something, like you never know if it's gonna like go which way it's gonna go. You never know. So it's one of those situations like you never know. Yeah.
Thank you. What did you learn about yourself in this whole process? And I should say, what are you learning about yourself in this whole process?
Well, what did I learn? Because right now I'm on a new project, so like a new experience. Sorry, what I learned like on this project is I learned like turning something bad into something good. Like I learned that my life, I've been through a lot of rough turns, but if I'm determined to take it to the next steps, like just seeing this project as I'm doing it physically, like seeing like one bad thing turn into something that is something turning into something that can help somebody. It's like it's in like the same circle as my life. Like been through a lot of things, but I can turn it into something good. Like turning something good can be able to help somebody else in turning their life into something good too. So yeah, I learned that, and yeah, and I learned that I really love fashion. It's my dream, and everything that got to do with like jewelry making and things and fashion. So I actually learned a lot about myself doing this project. Yeah.
Okay, we talked a little bit about your dad, and he helped you out. Who else helped you out? I'm guessing Zoe and Corey had something to do with it?
I think the whole Strong Heart Fellowship program, which is like Zoe and Corey. Yeah. Like, yeah, and Corey, actually, I met Corey in Ghana in a refugee camp when I was 12 years of age, and she was the one like, you should be a Strong Heart Fellow. And I was like, really? I don't know about Strong Heart Fellow. So yeah, and it's really funny because I'm like, okay, white ladies they actually become like a project to do something like be part of a battleship or something like that. And I was like, okay, it sounds good. And so yeah, and Corey is the founder of Strong Heart Fellowship Program. So that's how, and it just been like a really good role model and like almost like mothers actually there for me and everything and like teaching me like role models and mentors and mothers like I can look up to and like that teach me like steps and things that I do. Yeah. So
Do,
they're like my backbone.
did they, did you have doubts about yourself when they asked you to become a fellow? Were you feeling like, I don't know if I can do that? Or were you just like, yeah, I can do this?
Well, I actually first of all I was happy like to become like something with a white person. I mean like no, I'm not saying you know what I'm talking about. Like as a
Yeah,
kid, like
it, go.
African kid. So I was like, I'm so happy, but I didn't know like the whole thing about the whole program about like the thing you go through, the big kind of fellow at the training and leadership. I mean, I had a lot of leadership, and that is true. But and I actually, and so I was really happy. I was like, yeah, of course I want to do this. And yeah,
Ready to go. Good. Um, I guess something that, it's not really on my usual questions, but do you feel like being that you had these strong female role models
and my dad too, and my family.
and your dad, do you feel like that was another part of the equation? Like your dad was such a strong influence. Well, I guess I'm wondering if you felt like Corey and Zoe asking you to do this and helping you with this was able to give you something, a missing piece that maybe your father could not have given you as a man. Did having a woman role model, a woman to sort of stand there with that, did that add something to the mix?
I don't like To be like my dad, like he's a man, like he's still he always tell me that being a woman doesn't hold you back. So like no, like as growing up as a kid, like growing up with dad, my dad always tell me like being a woman, you can still do this, you can still be a lawyer, you can still be something that you want to be. And like having Korean Zoe just like showed like an example of like what he's trying to say and like yeah, and being there. But my dad always yeah, from like 5, from the age of 5 to the age of 16. I'm
Wow.
69. He still tells me that, yeah. So that's the kind of parents I had. And a lot of kids in Africa don't have parents like that. I mean, I grew up with my mother, but I grew up with a father who was very supportive. That taught me a lot of things. And taught me to just be myself and like follow my dreams. And a lot of kids didn't have like dads who told them things like that. So yeah.
Yeah.
I was lucky that happened in my life. It still is. If a woman, like, if I mean, come on now, it's like a woman can become president in Africa. That is like, whoa, like it just makes you as a little girl just so determined, like to do anything, like you just like, I have to do this, like I can't do this, you know? It's like a whole cycle has like been broken, like, yeah.
But would you do it again? And how would you do it again?
Well, that's a really good question, but I'm actually doing it again. I'm doing a new project, and it's called New Faces. It's a teen magazine for African teens, and it's different in a lot of ways because I've grown and matured, and like I'm 16 now. Then I was 14, like with a lot of ideas, and now I'm 16, like being creative and coming up with a lot of ideas, and like just being a teenager, the experience I'm going through, and the things I've gone through, and I can be able to share with other teenagers and be able again, and like I should always say, like does it help somebody? It's like the magazine help a lot. It's gonna help a lot of kids in Liberia. Just like money, like for the magazine, money is gonna go to them. At the same time, it's gonna help to show them that hey, someone care about you. That you can be in a magazine if you do your best in school, if you do your best in this, and you can do your best, and we're just here to like be your mentor and comfort you and like to connect with you as a teenager and as an African teenager. Is that I'm not like I didn't come from silver spoon to come here. I came from nowhere, and like if I can do it, like you can do it, and like just have fun with the magazine and things like that. So yeah, that's the next project, which is really exciting.
It's cool. That's very cool. How are you going to approach this project differently than you approached the first one? Like, what are you going to take from the first one as that you want to carry on, and what are you going to leave behind and do differently?
Oh boy, that's a really hard now place. And the first question, the first project is I was really young. I was getting into something that I didn't know what I was getting into. Not in a bad way, you know what I'm talking about. Like I didn't know what I was getting into. I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know a lot about jewelry making and things like that and stuff like that. I didn't know anything about stuff like that. So it was something new I was learning and like taking in and like being creative and like designing and something like that. And so actually this project is like what I've learned like in the process of the next project, like being creative and like business wise and things like that. And that's why I'm taking to this next project. It's because if I didn't learn that from that project, it make this one more difficult for me. But because I've learned that from that project, it make it easier for me to do like, oh, I can do a teen magazine. I know, and I have it in my head. Like this is how I want to do a picture and work towards it. Yeah.
I do have one last question for you, and that is,
Okay.
what advice do you have for other kids that are looking to start their own business?
Well, just to say for other kids who are looking to start their own business, in the beginning, like you might be like, I don't think this is right. Like I don't think I want to do it, and you might have a lot of people be like saying, yeah, I don't think this is the best thing to do. Like but you always have to be true to yourself and like know what you want. If you know what you want, like I guess I always, if you always know what you want, like you know, no one can stop you, right? And you always gotta listen to advice from other people and do something different. Don't do the same thing that other people is doing. Make something different and unique, so people can be able to say, "Oh, that this is what I separate this from other things," and can be able to buy what you making. And actually, that take one step at a time if you're doing something and put your all into what you're doing and be really determined about what you're doing and be focused on what you're doing and have fun with it. Don't like take it to like a pressure on you that, oh, I have to do this really fast, because the more your brain want like do everything fast, you're gonna mess everything up. Have fun with it. Like do different stuff. Like think about different stuff and come back to the same thing. If you think about different stuff and see, okay, maybe I kind of like this one than the other one, then you do it. But if you still love this one, then that means that that's what you really want, and your heart tells you what you really want.